Good afternoon, everyone. Throughout this period of instruction, we're going to go over the LOCARD exchange principle. So let's get into it. First of all, let's see who is Edmund Locard, who created this principle. So Dr. Edmund Locard, also known as the Sherlock Holmes of France, is considered to be one of the pioneers of criminology and forensic science. During 1910, the Lyon Police Department, located in France, allowed Mr. Locard to open the first crime investigation laboratory, thus providing him the ability to analyze evidence from crime scenes. Throughout that time, his research and work of dactylography, also known as the study of fingerprints, has helped develop several methods throughout the forensic analysis that are still in use today. One of his famous quotes is, "Wherever he steps, whatever he touches, whatever he leaves, even unconsciously, will serve as a silent witness against him." Not only his fingerprints or his footprints, but his hair, the fibers from his clothes, the glass he breaks, the tool marks he leaves, the paint he scratches, the blood or semen he deposits or collects, all of these and more bear mute witness against him. This evidence that does not forget. It is not confused by the excitement of the moment. It is not absent because human witnesses are. It is factual evidence. Physical evidence cannot be wrong. It cannot perjure itself. It cannot be wholly absent. Only human failure to find it, study, and understand it can diminish its value. So what is the local exchange principle? Basically, it explains how whenever two objects come in contact with one another, there will be an exchange taking place of both materials. Therefore, every contact leaves a trace. Based upon the materials, the measure of intensity between contact and the duration of contact will determine. Now, there are two different categories of evidence. There's two different categories. The first one we're going to go over is direct evidence. This type of evidence demonstrates that the defendant committed the crime, is known as direct evidence. Direct evidence speaks for itself, basically. This form displays and shows that the person who committed the alleged offense may be used to meet the standards for proving guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. Some examples of direct evidence would be any security camera footage, audio recordings, eyewitness statements, accounts, or testimonies, any paper or electronic records proving that the defendant has committed the crime or offense, and also ballistic tests, which shows that the weapon at the crime scene was fired and the defendant used it. The next category of evidence would be circumstantial evidence, also known as trace evidence. Just as what was stated in LOCARD principle, whenever two objects come in contact with one another, the exchange of materials occurs. Trace evidence plays a crucial part since this will provide investigators the ability to tell a story of what happened at the crime scene. This can be anything from physical or biological materials found at the crime scene. Also, will provide authorities to be able to link an individual to the actual crime scene. Some examples of trace evidence would be hair, any from humans or animals, fingerprints at the location of the crime, any bodily fluids such as blood, saliva, or semen, any glass that has fingerprint marks, maybe broken at the crime scene, any fibers from materials, paint chips found on the floor could be used, and also gunshot shells and residue at the crime scene. Next, let's go into PPE and what is it? So, personal protective equipment is also known as PPE. It's used to prevent the exposure of any sensitive or harmful materials. Using PPE provides a barrier where the individual can be at ease while exposing themselves to certain materials. All right, now let's get into what's the purpose of PPE. There are several reasons why using personal protective clothing and equipment is used at a crime scene. The main focus of utilizing these tools is to reduce the possibilities and chances of contaminating anything at the crime scene. This can be from shedding of hair, leaving fingerprints, bringing in any dirt from the bottom of your shoes or boots. Other reasons is to help personnel protect themselves from the hazardous chemicals that they use at the crime scene, such as powders and chemicals, either to collect evidence or to clean up the scene itself. What to find in a PPE kit? The items you're going to find is one, facial protection. This can come in the form of any glasses, goggles, masks. Body protection. This can come in like as a jumpsuit or coveralls. Any shoe covering to prevent dirt from contaminating the crime scene. Any gloves like to cover your hands so you don't leave your fingerprints to contaminate the scene itself. And also like cleaners and sanitizers and powders to help collect evidence at the scene itself. And these are the resources that we used. And thank you very much.